Today we're talking about fountain pens. So it's tips, it's maintenance, it's how to get them running, it's how to troubleshoot them. I've been using fountain pens. I have here about probably 20 pens, and this isn't the whole collection at the moment. I do occasionally get rid of them. So if you stick to the end, I'm going to talk about what are my favorite pens at the moment and which ones I'm using most, because it does vary. But let's start with a few tips that are going to help you to enjoy and get the most out of these fickle things. So tip number one, filling a fountain pen. So if you use a pen often, first of all, it's not going to be gummed up, it's going to be flowing well, and it's going to be ready for some more ink. Now, if you're not changing the colour of the ink, if you're going to keep the same ink, the easiest way to do that is just to change the cartridge. So you obviously take the old cartridge out, put a new one in it. If, for example, you're using a converter, which enables you to use ink out of a bottle, you've got a couple of choices here. You can dip the whole of the nib into the ink and then suck it, all the ink, through the nib, through the feed, and all the way into the converter there. Or, because you've already got ink in the feed and in the nib, because you use it often, you can take out the converter and just use that as a syringe to suck up some more ink and then pop that back in the pen. So that's basically how you refill what I would say a traditional fountain pen. You know, with a traditional fountain pen, you're either going to be using a converter. If it's a converter here that has the loose ink in, you're going to be using that to suck some more ink through, whether it's through the nib or just straight into the converter. So with these sorts of pens, one of the things I find really useful is a syringe. This is a syringe that I bought off eBay. It's a 2mm syringe and it's got a blunt tip, but it's still a needle, so be careful with it. And obviously you can replace the tips. I find that one of these will last me probably 2 years. So I'll take a converter out of a pen, fill up the syringe, and then just fill it like that. So just in case you're curious what my Patreon channel actually looks like, there is lots of videos, full versions of all the videos that you see on my YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff that's been archived there that's not available on YouTube anymore. As well as, this is a sort of homepage. You can go here and you can have a look at the collections. And here I've got, you know, full series, fundamental, beginner, art stuff, advanced, more advanced watercolor, more advanced line work. There's equipment reviews and chats and stuff on there. There's also here a chat section of the Patreon where you can share your artwork. There's discussions about art supplies, various bits and bobs in there. And there's a nice little community developing there where we talk about art and our approach. So the viewer that's actually within Patreon is pretty good as well. You can obviously select stuff full screen. You can change the playback speed if you want to speed it up or slow it down. And obviously this is completely ad-free, which is one of the nicest things about it compared to YouTube, certainly nowadays. So for the cost of a couple of coffees a month, you get to see all the videos, all full length with no adverts. You can develop your style, have a play, try some new materials, try some new things, and just have fun. So check out the link in the description or in my profile. The other thing is, if you're filling up these cartridges here, you don't need a converter. You can just stick with these plastic cartridges. I've had some of these last probably about, I don't know, 10, 20 refills in pens, and they've been fine. And just use that instead of buying a converter. So that's filling of a conventional pen. Now, you may well say, well, what about unconventional pens? Well, if you've got a lever filler like this one, it's not easy to take the insides of one of these out. So you would dip the whole pen in, pull the lever, pushes the air out, and then pop the lever back. And that creates a partial vacuum, sucks the ink up through the pen, through the feed, into the sac that's inside it. And that's very much the same as a piston filler. I've got several pens that are piston fillers. You can see one here. And how these work is the whole pen is basically a syringe. So yes, with piston fillers like this, again, you'll dip the whole pen in and pull all the ink all the way through it. Another thing I haven't mentioned actually is where a lot of people struggle is when they have a brand new pen. Now, if you have a brand new pen that has a cartridge that goes in it, often the way that I will start that pen up is I will put the cartridge in and I'll leave the pen overnight, sat up like that, or just for a few hours. And often that's enough just to gently gravity feed the ink down into the nib. So what if that doesn't work and it's a brand new pen and you just can't get it to work? Well, what I tend to do is I'll hold the pen up like this And I'll just gently squeeze that cartridge, just gently enough so that you can see a little bit of ink coming out the bottom. And yes, you might lose a drop of ink, and that will give you just enough ink to get it going. The other thing you can do is you can use some tissue paper. So what you do is just give the cartridge a gentle squeeze and then just put the nib on some tissue paper, and that tissue paper is going to suck the ink all the way through the feed there and down to the nib. The other thing you can try, which has worked for me occasionally, is you can actually just put a couple of drops of water from the tap, and that will wet the feed from the bottom. And that can sometimes get the ink flowing. If it's stopped here, kind of at the bottom of the feed, just a little bit of water will bring that through. You use a fountain pen, unless you're sucking the ink through the whole pen to fill it, it's going to take a while for the ink that's in the cartridge to fill that feed and fill that nib. I hope that makes sense. So tip number 2 is about inks. It's about which inks to use where. Now, most ink, I would say, unless it specifically says it's waterproof or a carbon ink or an Indian ink, most inks are water soluble. So when you put water on them, even when they're dried, they will reactivate and get messy. Water soluble inks are mainly what I would call like a typical fountain pen ink. Now, that's not an issue because obviously a fountain pen is a writing instrument primarily, and most of the time we don't get our letters wet. But if you intend to use the line work from a fountain pen as the basis of a line and wash drawing where you don't want the lines to disappear and get all mushy, then I would recommend using, if you wanted a black ink, there is Platinum Carbon Black, which is a really good ink. I use that all the time in my fountain pens and never really have any problems with them blocking up. Obviously, unless you leave them for a long time, but that's the same with any ink. And I wouldn't say that Platinum Carbon Black is harder to remove from a pen once it's dried out. It will stain a pen if it's a light coloured pen over time. So that's a consideration. So there's a company called Diatramentis, I think that's how you say it, Diatramentis. They do like document inks, waterproof, made in Germany. And this is a grey ink, and this is again a waterproof ink. So once it's completely dry, it has to be completely dry. That's the mistake a lot of people make, is particularly on very absorbent paper, is they will put it on and not let it 100% dry and then put, you know, watercolour or whatever over the top, and it will still go everywhere. And there's many examples of videos here where I've done, and you should check them out, with water-soluble ink, and it can be an amazing effect. 2 of my favourites, I think, are the Lamy turquoise. I love that. It's such a great colour. And I also think the Earl Grey from Diamine. Now, this is an ink that will split up into its, I think it's chromatic is the term. Oh, is it chromatic? Well, it's basically like chromatography, if you've ever done that at school in the science lab, where an ink will split up into its component parts. So you get like pink hues and blue hues and grey bits. And if you write with it, it looks great. But if you actually paint with it and apply water, it does the most amazing things. And there's lots of like chromatography, chromatic inks that do that. But that's a whole other topic, I guess. So yes, the most important thing, apart from the colour, which is a very personal thing, is to ensure if you're using ink for art, you know whether it's waterproof or not waterproof. Tip number 3 is how to store your fountain pens. Now, I would say that the best way to store your fountain pens is obviously without inking. But yes, in an ideal world, if you have many fountain pens, you maybe just want to use a couple at any given time. So the ones that you are using, I would store them on their side. Some people say store them like this. I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. So tip number 4, which is basically maintenance. Now fountain pens shouldn't really need a lot of maintenance. What I tend to do every couple of years with the ones that I'm using the most is I will take them apart and I will pull the feed out and I will take them apart as much as I can. And now that depends on the pen. Most of the time, how it works with pens is that if it's a cartridge pen, where you have a cartridge inside, like this, you will take the cartridge out, take the body of the pen off, obviously, and take the lid off. And then when it comes to the nib and the feed, sometimes they screw out, sometimes it's a push fit and you pull them out. Sometimes you can pull the nib off and then the feed comes out, because the nib is kind of what holds the feed in. All pens are different. So what I would recommend you do is Google your pen, and you Google how to disassemble a Lamy Safari, how to disassemble a Kaweco Brass Sport. Some wise person will do a little video and will show you how to do that. And it's worth taking it apart as much as you can so you understand what's going on inside. And it's always good to have a visual idea of what's happening inside these pens. And then put it in some warm water, nothing boiling hot, just warm water, and let it soak for a bit. And then take it out the water and go back and look if there's any staining on the nib and use just a soft cloth, clean up those components. Often if you're using the platinum carbon black ink, it's a bit like soot. And what it will, inside the pen and in the feed, you will occasionally get small areas where the soot sort of collects. It's not bad because it's so finely ground into the solution, but it's worth going in with a soft brush or, like I say, a soft cloth and just tidying it up a little bit. And also inside the pen itself, if there's any parts where you can get in with a soft cloth and just give it a little bit of a wipe. But that's it. I certainly wouldn't use any soap solution or anything like that, because you're not wanting to actually take anything off the pen. You know, the wonderful thing about even something like this brass Kaweco Sport is the patina. You know, when you handle it, it's going to get wear and tear on it, and that's part of the pen's story, really. If you find your pen is scratchy, if you find your pen it's catching as you write, I mean, all pens are going to be sort of slightly scratchy on certain types of paper. But if you find it's scratching, it may be that you want to realign that nib. So it's worth getting a magnifying glass and having a really close look at that nib and seeing if the tines are sitting one's higher than the other. So the nib is obviously the most precious and delicate thing. And the last thing you want to do is permanently bend that. But often if it does get slightly bent, you can bend it back. So how do you clear a blockage in a fountain pen? I would just go back to that cleaning procedure, strip it down, take it apart, pop it in some warm water, leave it for a few hours, a day, whatever, come back, give it a light clean and pop it all back together and start again. Most of the time that's going to fix any problems. But generally, if your fountain pen isn't working, the best way to get it to work is just try and put a tiny bit of pressure, not much, but a tiny bit of pressure from the ink side and push that through towards the nib. And at the same time, sort of encouraging the ink to flow the other way. I will just talk very briefly about the 3 pens that I'm using at the moment and just why I'm enjoying using them so much. One of them, as you have seen if you've watched any of my videos recently, is the Kaweco Sport. It's the brass version. I have a plastic version. I have a couple of different versions of this pen. I really like sketching with it like this, holding it right at the end. And I like the fact that if it's posted, you can hold it even further back. I love the brass. I love the smell. I know I'm weird. I love the weight of it, and this one's got a fine nib. The extra fine is too thin for me. I like quite a wet nib on the pen. But yeah, as a go-to everyday carry fountain pen, I mean, you couldn't ask for more. It's beautiful. So another pen that I'm still using now is, and I did give a few of these away in a giveaway I did with Monteverde. Now this is the Monteverde MP1 piston filler. You can see it holds a huge amount of ink. And this has their flex nib on, and I have to say I think it's very good. I must use it more because it's getting a tiny bit dry now. But this is one of the few flex nib pens that I can leave for a long time and go back to, and it still seems to work fine. So I'm not a big fan of the blue colour, but the Monteverde MP1 piston filler is a lovely pen. They're about 60 bucks, they're not cheap. And the Kaweco Sport brass, again, is like 60, 70 pounds, dollars, whatever. I'm currently getting back into my Lamy Safaris, so I might do some more sketching with them because it's an accessible pen, and a lot of people who are just getting into urban sketching and drawing, you know, are going to be using pens like this. So it's good to use something that is a bit less specialist. There's a company in America called FPR, which is Fountain Pen Revolution, I believe, and I got this pen from them a while ago, and it's got an interesting message on, which I will put at the end of this video, and you can see that. So there you go. I'll show you the inscription on that, but the 3 pens I'm really using at the moment the most: the brass Kaweco Sport, the Monteverde MP1, the Lamy Safari, and occasionally I will get the Manon Sailor out for a play as well, because it's just such an iconic pen. This, if you don't know, is another Fude pen with a bent nib. I'm determined not to buy any more for now. So I hope you enjoyed those tips. It's a bit of a break from some drawing and sketching, and I will see you again. Bye bye.